Welcome back. This is the Pricode channel. If you are interested in programming, digital nomad, or productivity, please consider to subscribe clicking down below the button and then click on the bell so you can be up to date to everything that we are uploading over here. In this video, we are going to continue building our WordPress plugin, and we are going to save all the thumbnails that we downloaded from the API and add them to the custom post type that we created before. Hope you enjoy it, and let's gonna convert this coffee in code. Let's do it. Okay, so in the last video, we were able to set up, and bring several information for the movies. And those movies were bringing us the title, the description of the movie, and for example, the thumbnails. So thumbnails is a very tricky thing to add because it's not that easy. So right now we are going to try to get the information from the URL that is bringing from the API, and then adding them to the post text that we create. So it's gonna make a recap here, and let's say that I'm going to look for the Superman movies. And I remember that we did this add me button. So when I add this button, I can, for example, let's say add me, and it's going to add me a new movie called, the ID is a 29 one. So let's see. If I go here to the movies, you will see that Superman 3 is here. And as you can see, there is the title and the movie itself. So what I want to do is that if I click here, for example, Superman Returns, and I click add me, I want that this poster file gets added to the post. So let's gonna write that code but first, the first thing that we need to do is just to add the thumbnails functionality to the post type that we created. So it's gonna see it, register post type, and then we are going to add a tag here called supports. And if we go here, I had it here, one sec. Register post type, set thumbnails. Here we go. This is the tag. So supports. And we are going to add the title, editor, author, thumbnail, excerpt, and comments. So we only need the thumbnails, but it's good to add it also the other ones. So with this, what we are doing is that when we go to the movies, again here, go to the movies, you will see that there's a feature image over here. So we are going to add the image. So what we need to do. Okay, so if we recap here of the code that we did, we will see that we are bringing all the information from the action number movie search action. So if I go to movie search action, you will see that it's a post handler over here. And we are adding this API connection, and then it's just giving us the response. Let's see. There you go. This is the body. And then we go over here for the information. So when we returned this and we were printing this info over here in this function, okay, we are having this value as a poster. So the poster is the URL that we have from the API. So what we need to do is just to create a function, and let's do this. Function Pricode OMD add thumbnail to post. Okay, here. So we are going to need the URL, and we're also going to need the post, the post ID of let's say movie post ID. That's the full name for it. Okay. So here on the post information that we are sending, we are receiving, for example, the movie data is a title. So if we get the title like this, right, it's because we are having this poster here. So That's gonna say then that the URL, pick URL, it will be then the movie data poster. There you go. So we are going to then say, hey, you know what? New post. All this code is going to be on my GitHub, on our GitHub account. So after this video, you are going to start to see many code that I'm going to be posting over there. So we are going to add then, let's add peek to movie here, and we are going to use this function, and let's say, there we go, this is the peek URL, and then a new ID. Okay. So what we need to do over here. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to bring that, we need to make that the system brings the URL itself and the information itself to then upload it to the WordPress folders. So for that, we will need then a class that is called HTTP. So we are going to say if class does not exist, that would be HTTP. Then we are going to do a require once ABS path. The inc is one of and the includes itself and class http.php. There we go. So with this, we are including this class that is going to make a curl request for us to get the information for. So we are going to say, hey, HTTP is a new WP HTTP. And we are going to tell it, hey, you know what? Just go there and bring me the image itself. So for that, we do HTTP request and the URL. So if the response code code, it's gonna take a little bit of this class. Let's see what is the response normally that it has. Let's see if we get an example here. There we go. Let's see what happens. Yeah, we have the response message and response code. We need to figure it out that we really got something from here, and the HTTP code for us is 200, as you know. And if we get, if it's different from 200. So if it is different than that, we are going to set something false. Okay. So it means that we have the image here on the body itself, and we are going to then upload it to the WordPress. So for that, we are going to use the function called WP upload bits. So it will be WP upload. WP upload bits. For that, we need the base name URL, let's see what else is needed. Upload bits. It's asking for the name. Oh, this is deprecated, so can be simply no. And the bits itself, which is the body, It's the body that we have on this variable here. And would be then new and response body. Same if we do not get, let's see, what is the error that we have? Return and arrive with error. So if not empty, upload error, then simply return false. So what it means that if the system is not being able to, so if the system is not allowed to upload the file itself, it is going to give us an error. It's going to give us an error, and we are not going to be able to attach it to the movie itself. So, but if everything goes well, we can just simply start to set up the values for it. So in WordPress, the attachments are also posts. So it saves the information of the image itself in the database as a post. Just it takes it like an post type. I don't know, like an attachment. I don't know exactly what's the name for it, but yeah, it's more or less like that. And the idea over here is that we are going to just take all the information that we have and then add it to the system and then add it to the movie. So for that, we need to set up several important things, okay? So the first thing that we need to do is just to declare the file path that we have, because after the URL after the image is uploaded, it gets in a local URL in the uploads folder. So we need that URL to to add it to the system. So that info over here is in the upload variable that we created, and it's in the path. So then we are going to set the file name for it, and the file name, it will be the base name of the same path. Then we are going to set up the file type, and file type is going to be WP. There's a function that helps us for that. Let's WP check file type. That's what I like from WordPress, that WordPress has many functions that allow and makes your life easier. It's like a framework, which is great. And will be the file name. No, let's see. I have it here on my notes, but I wanted to all of you look at it, and check file time. And yeah, it's expecting that we pass the mimes types, but we are not gonna send that because we want that it does give us to us, And we are going to then send the attachment file name, attachment title. And we are going to use a function called sanitize file name, which is going to get the whole name of, and it's trying to set up like a more system allowed name. So if it has, slash or whatever, it's going to just trim them all and just create let's say a good name for it. If it has spaces, it's going to be to add some underscores or things like that makes like a good name for the system. So it will be sanitize file name, and we are going to need the path info of the file name. And we are going to add this path info file name. This is a constant from PHP, and I'm going to show it to you also here. Path info. And path info file name. This is in Spanish. Sorry for that. So English. Let's see. I have it here. Yeah, it's in English. Sorry for it. And path info file name. There you go. Is it going to return us? If we present a specific element, we're returning one of the path name or path file name. So if path has more than one extension, path extension returns only the last one path file name info and strip the last one. So it's going to give us the last extension that it has. Okay, well, whatever. So we have all this information. We are going to then set the post that we are going to save on the system for, and that's going to call it like a attachment info. So we are going to say the GUID that it will be the WP upload tier URL. This is one of the globals. Oh, sorry, I didn't add it here. Sorry for that. This is this value here. So we have the WP upload tier URL slash the file name. So I will add something like WordPress.com, site.com/WP content, uploads, whatever, file name. Sec. We are also going to add the post meme type, which is the value that we wrote from the file type here, and the type that is returned. We are going to also set a post title, which is, as I said, is the title that the attachment has, because it's considered as a post also, just a different post type. And it's going to be the attachment title. Then we are going to, post content is going to be empty. I'm gonna add it here just because I have it in my notes, but it's not necessary. And the post status is going to be inherit. Why is it going to be inherit? Because it's going to be inherited by the parent ID, by the parent post. Inherit. Okay, here. There you go. We have now the attachment info. So let's gonna insert it on the system. So for that, we are going to create an attach ID after this, and we are going to use this function that is the WP insert attachment. So it's gonna see what is it asking for us. Insert attachment. So it's gonna receive the args that we saved, the file itself, and the parent post ID, which is the movie post ID that we inserted before. Let's see what we have here. So it's going to be attachment info, the file path that we got it, and the movie post ID. Okay. Now we have the attachment. Now we have to generate the metadata. So each image has a bunch of metadata for WordPress that is needed for just to be inserted. So for example, it brings, tags from information or attributes or titles, things like that, that is good for the system to expose it to, the crawlers. An idea, so we need to set that and create that. So for that, we are going to create the attached data, and we are going to use a function called WP generate attachment. metadata. And we are going to add it to the attach ID that we just created, and we are only also adding to the file path. For that, we need to make include. I have it here. So we are going to include the WP admin includes image PHP because it's the file that contains that function, because that function is not loaded normally in the system. Then we need to set up the WP attachment metadata. WP update attachment. It's gonna look at those two here, so you can also take a look here. So WP generate attachment metadata. It's going to just and going to returns the metadata for, and we then need to add that info to the WP update metadata. So all the data that is created by the file is going to be then added to the attach ID. So we got it here. So it's going to receive of the attachment ID and the data itself, the information that we are going to send. So this is going to be then WP attachment data, and we are going to just add the attach ID. This is the post that we created for, and the attached data, which is all the metadata that we created before. Right there. Okay, I think that we have the value here, but now we have to add that URL and that image to the movie post as a thumbnail ID. And for that, we need to add a post meta for it. So it's going to be a post meta movie post ID, which is the movie post ID itself, with the meta thumbnail ID, attach ID, and there you go. And we are going to return the attach ID, but that's not necessary. I have it here in my notes. This is also based on a GIS that I'm going to just link on the video, on the comments of the video. Sorry, on the description of the video. But this is not also super necessary. So what we did here is that we are receiving this information from the big URL, from the new ID, and if we click on the movie that we have here, right? In theory, it should create a post and also add the pig URL. So let's see what happens. Now, okay, let me see if this is save it. And that's going to just also add. I have my debug log here just to be sure that it's gonna work. And let's see what happens. It's gonna cross fingers. Rid of this just for fun. What's gonna look for Alf? I love Alf. And if I click here, add me, there you go. We have a new movie called the ID is a 30, and if everything went okay, the movie of the Alf should be here. And oh wow, if we don't have the URL here, let's see what happens. Okay, it's telling me index path on the 168. This is upload. Oh, it's not path, it's a file. Sorry for that. Let's see again. I'll just save it, and if I click here, Project Alf, it's going to the 32. Project Alf. There you go. We have the URL. We have the image over here. That's it. So we ended up adding the thumbnails to the WordPress posts that we created on the plugin. In the coming videos, I'm gonna show you more things that we can do with this code, and I will be uploading everything to the GitHub at Pricoders. You can also follow me on my social media at AldiNomad on Instagram. And if you think that this video is useful and you wanna share it or like it, really help us to grow. And any questions that you have, you can leave it on the comments. So that's all for now. See you in the next one.